Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Royse City, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Royse City, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Denney will share Royse City's story through the stories of the people who call Royse City home. This is Heart of Royse City.
Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Denney, your host of Heart of Royse City, and today we're sitting down at REMAX 3D Real Estate here in Royse City. I am so happy to be sitting down with Michelle Rives. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come and sit down and share your story with us today.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, Ashley highly recommended you, and so I'm so honored that you did decide to say yes and put you in the hot seat because I understand you have multiple hats.
I do. I do a lot around town. I have 2 jobs here in town and just love being around and helping other people.
So let's talk about those jobs.
Okay.
Let's talk about the counseling first. How about that? Tell us about that.
I'm a biblical counselor at Higher Hopes Counseling. Erin kind of wrangled me in. It's something that I've always wanted to do. It was a long process to go back to college, so she got me into a program that I could do online, and I have several different certifications. And that's probably my biggest passion in life is to be able to help other people.
What made you want to get into that?
Really, I've just always kind of had that want to help people since I was young. I've always been the one to give advice. I had some pretty bad tragedies happen in my life, and I just wanted to go out and be able to help other people with situations like I had been in.
Were you a child then when you went through those tragedies, and did you go to counseling yourself to get through some of those tragedies?
No, I was 32 years old when it happened. My husband passed away tragically,
I'm so sorry.
It was a very rough time in my life. It was probably about 3 or 4 years before I really could get myself back into normal life. And I just knew from the process God put me through during that time that this is what I was meant to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Well, thank you.
Now, did you guys have kiddos? And
We didn't have any together. I had my boys and he had children, but we were, very much in love. And he was what I thought would be my soulmate. And, he still lives in my heart and is with me every day. But, sometimes things happen like that in order for you to see your purpose in life.
Right. So what through that process made you find your purpose?
I guess just seeing, the ups and downs I had afterwards, seeing how people reacted or didn't react, how it made me feel, and how it led me, to just so many different places in my life that allowed me to kind of see that that's what, God wanted me to do. It was more like a sign, God, I've always felt like God puts us strongest soldiers through his hardest battles. And I felt like, this is what I was meant to do. So...
That is really cool. I love that quote. Like, I want to take that and
please do.
Put it
please
on a
do.
post. I mean,
he does. So
I feel like, did he speak to you for you? How did you know that you know? I mean, you just had that peace in your heart that you're supposed to help other people and counsel with them. And
well, I think I just felt like what I went through was such a horrible thing, and I didn't want other people to ever have to go through that. And suicide is a big, a big factor in a lot of people's lives. Whether it's, people that are left, what I call suicide survivors, and the hurt and pain they go through. And a lot of people don't understand what it's like to go through that. Mm-hmm. So who do they talk to? A lot of people didn't know what to say to me after it happened, because, what do you say? And I felt like, people need to be able to speak about that and get it out. I tried to go to a counselor after that. I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
So by reading the Bible and, getting myself back into a really good church, I wanted people to know that, miracles can happen. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, thank you for sharing
no
what
problem.
happened. It's so tragic. I had an aunt that committed suicide, and I was like maybe 10 when it happened, and it changed the course of my life. When I went through those darkest days as a teenager and then a young adult and then some other things later in life, when those thoughts creep in, I just had that image of how heartbroken our family was. And so I think people like you that can share that message, that there is hope, and to try to talk to someone when they feel that way.
Yes, and a lot of people just don't feel like they can talk to someone. A lot of people that are having those thoughts, a lot of times don't have close people to them, or they don't feel like they can share that with someone. And that's, one of my main things that I want to really get into is suicide awareness.
Do you help share then a lot what it's like then being the survivor and that side of it, so that people who are going through those suicidal thoughts understand what happens later?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's very important. A lot of people are like shocked when I tell them my story, but I feel like if someone's not out there telling their story, especially mine, and the more details that went into it, people won't really know.
Right.
I also do, see in the counseling center a lot of children or spouses who are survivors of suicide.
Well, in any of that story you want to share, you're welcome to share on this.
Well, and it's a long one, so I mean, just
Right.
ups and downs, just not being able to handle it well at that time, and going through really, really bad depression. And so, but I'm very proud of myself for where I came from, to where I am now, and that's why I just try to get out and do as much as I can. At our counseling center through the American Legion, we provide free counseling for veterans. And so I know there's a high rate of suicide with veterans, so we're trying to really get out there and speak on that as well with the veterans.
I love that. And people forget the veterans go through so much in
They
their
do.
minds because they've seen and done so many things to, protect our country.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad you provide that service. What is something, I know it's kind of derailing a little bit, but depression is a big thing in our country, and especially during this time. What's a piece of advice that you give to some of your patients that come in and are struggling with depression? What are some things that you give them to do to get better?
Really, it's just to have hope and to know that your right now is not your forever, for sure. Things change. You have the power to change yourself. A lot of people think they don't have it within them to be a better person or do something different, or they don't have the strength or the support around them to make changes in their life. And I see a lot of teens that have had a lot of depression because they're at home, they're not seeing their friends, they're not at school. And I just tell them, you got to take this time and realize that there's a reason for everything, and just use this time to better yourself. And your friends are going to come back. They're not going anywhere, and we're all finally getting to get out again. And I think that depression's lifting for sure.
And that quote, "This too shall pass."
So my mom has told me that for a long time. So that's very close to my heart. So she told me that. She still tells me that, even the littlest things, because she knows it gets me. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can tell that touched your heart.
It's okay. No, yeah, it's just she's always told me that. So.
But we have to remember that because when we're sitting in those dark places, it doesn't feel like it's going to pass, and it feels like it's
Yeah.
going to be there every day and forever. And to really hold on to that phrase and know that it does pass, and that there is hope and there's happiness.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, you probably deal with this in counseling. The people who maybe have thought about committing suicide but didn't.
Yes.
There's a lot of guilt that comes with that.
Oh, yes.
I can know from my own experience. You think about later, I would have missed that. I would have missed certain things with my kids or with my family. And, so that phrase, "This too shall pass," is near and dear to my heart
Yeah.
because of that.
Well, and too, like you said, people that don't always, they're wanting to do that. They're thinking maybe they've done something wrong or they just can't go on. But you're right. I mean, children lose their dads and their moms, and then you have to think about what their life's going to be like from here on out, and how they have to go through, not having a father to walk them down the aisle and different things. And so sometimes you got to open people's eyes to realize what the future holds, and everybody's future's bright as long as you just put in the effort.
It really is. And God has a purpose for every one of us.
Yes.
And remembering that. And, I think sometimes we have to go through those darkest days so that He can use us. Even though
yeah.
those are so hard, because that's what He's doing now with you, you're able to be a light for other people and to give them hope. And
Yes,
that does
thank
let you
you.
serve that purpose.
It does, and I try to do. I mean, I've always been a giving person, but anything anybody needs, I'm always here for. I mean, all around town, I have a lot of friends that'll call me for advice or different things, and they know that no matter what, they can call on me if they need something. So,
Where do you think that giving spirit and heart came from?
I mean, really, I felt like I was always that way. My grandparents were always there for me when I was young. When, instead of going to daycare, my grandparents kept me. And my grandfather was a very giving, kind man and taught us a lot of, generosity and just treating people like you want to be treated.
The golden rule.
Yes, and he always taught us, and this is one of my biggest things is, always treating even your enemy with respect. If they're in need of help, you don't walk past them just because you may not agree with something they've done. You always help anyone that's out there, and you would expect that in return.
That was great advice.
Thank you.
And that's what's carried you on and made you such a
Yes.
giving person.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest reasons I do love this community out here is because that's how everyone is out here.
Did you grow up here?
I grew up in Rowlett.
Oh, just right down the road.
Yes. I got here as quick as I could.
Oh,
Yeah, I've lived out here for, I guess, about 7 years.
okay. So you've been out here for a little while.
Yes.
One of the things I've noticed about this community is they're so welcoming.
Oh, yes. With everywhere you go, any restaurant or business out here, even the gas stations, you get to know people because you go in there a lot, but everyone's really friendly. There's not anywhere you can go out here where you feel not welcome.
That is so true. Okay, so let's talk about your other hat
Okay.
at Smoke Sessions that just
Yes.
opened.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That was a very big blessing. I went in on a whim for an interview as a manager, and I prayed about it. Because I did want to come out here and be a part of this community. I did, get the job, and I'm thankful for that. Chad and Jess are, from here. They're business owners. They're not a corporation. Like, they're putting their life into this, and I wanted to be a big part in helping them, be successful. So, another place I get to see everyone I know all the time, and it's wonderful.
That's so cool. You're a manager?
Yes.
Right. So what's your role there as a manager?
I really just like the front of the house, just making sure that everyone up front is doing what they're supposed to, everything's clean, that customers are happy, chatting with everyone that comes in, making sure, that everything was to their satisfaction, and just really, it's having fun is what I like, been doing most since I've been there. It's been busy,
I was
but
going to say, how were those first few days when it opened, when the new location completely opened?
it was crazy.
I bet.
It was. Sometimes you feel like you're just running around in circles, but it's exciting. Royse City really needed a place like this where people can go and hang out outside and just enjoy themselves. It's a very, very wonderful atmosphere there.
Now, there's live music there too, right? Do they have
There was on opening weekend.
Okay.
Hopefully, pretty soon, probably at least by summer, we're definitely going to be having weekend music. There's going to build a stage eventually, but there is a kind of a trailer out there for the bands to set up on. It's right on the railroad tracks. There's picnic tables and benches out there, and also we have cornhole right now. I'm sure we'll be adding more games out there soon. So
It is such a cool building and
Yes.
a cool place.
I know
It's
it.
definitely a destination.
yeah, it's definitely a blessing to be a part of it and be able to help them, be successful for sure.
So that's such a difference from you're involved in your counseling and then you go to Smoke Sessions.
Yes. Yeah, and I've been an ambassador out here for about 4 years. And then
Is that with the chamber?
Yes, and then I will be appointed to the board of directors next month.
Oh, congratulations.
So that's very exciting. I do a lot of work with the Legion, with the homeless veterans out here, helping feed them hot meals when they put them up. When they find them, they get them a hotel room until they can get them somewhere permanent, and they will call me for meals, to provide for them. And I call my contacts around town from knowing everyone to, get help with that. So I'll try to be involved in as much as I can.
You seem to have a heart for our veterans.
I
Was
do.
there someone in your life along the way that?
No,
made you wanna
I
do
think it goes along with the suicide and then the PTSD that I had after my husband passed. And just, really, it's for anyone. That would go for anyone. But the partnerships we have through the Counseling Center with the American Legion and our veterans and the wonderful people at the Legion that I've become friends with, they just know that they can call on me. I like to network. I like to get to know everybody and all the businesses. That way, if somebody needs something from me, they call me. If I need, if I know somebody needs a plumber or whatever it might be, I know, hey, I got your person. So
I love that. When I met you today at the chamber luncheon, like you just had a big smile on your face and you were so welcoming. So I can
Thank
see
you.
you being that resource here.
Thank you, yes.
In this community.
I try to stay happy as
Well-
best I can, as best as we all of us can. So
Listen, my mom told me you can choose to be happy. And so it's a choice if you decide to be happy or not. So
That's right.
I love that you choose to be happy.
yes, got to put a smile. Sometimes your smile makes other people smile and can make their day. So
It really can. And you don't even realize it.
I know.
Until maybe you're the one who's receiving the smile.
I know, and that's the first thing you want to see when you go in places is somebody smiling and welcoming you, and that's just, it can really change a person's day or their life sometimes. Just talking to them, taking the time to get to know people that come in anywhere, and even if I'm just eating somewhere, chatting with somebody that's sitting next to you. So,
I love that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your kiddos.
okay, I've got 2 boys, 17 and 15.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they go to Rockwell High School.
Teenage boys.
Yes, they like to eat. They eat me out of house and home. But yes, they go to Rockwell High School. My son Tyler will graduate next year, and then Hunter is a freshman this year, so he'll be moving on. He's kind of been distraught, because his freshman year he's been at home. But he did get to play football. They still did football, and they're just very outgoing and intelligent and very funny and witty. So they're something else some days. But all kids are, and they're getting older though.
I know.
It's kind of weird.
You're about to be an empty nester.
I know.
What are you going to do?
Well, I do have 3 soon-to-be stepdaughters coming from California, so that's going to be very exciting for me.
That's going to be a whole new world.
Yes.
You've lived in a blue house
I know,
with 2
yes.
boys, and it's about to turn pink.
I know it. I'm excited. I cannot be more excited.
How old
So,
are they?
7, 9, and 11.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Yes.
You're going to have so much fun.
Yes, it is. It's going to be great.
When are they coming?
At the end of May, when their
Okay, so-
school's out over there.
So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that's really soon. Oh,
Yes.
wow. So when do you find time to do all this, to be a mom and do your counseling and volunteering?
Well, when do I find
do you
time
sleep?
to... barely. Yesterday, my day off, I think I slept quite a bit. So take a relax. I don't want to sit at home. I like being on the go. I like, getting out there and doing things. And if I am at home, I'm working in the yard or planting flowers. So I'm glad it's warming up. And summertime's going to be here and garden's going.
Oh, do you like to garden?
Oh, I had my first garden last year, and it was outrageous. It was crazy. So I'm excited to do it. I'm at a new home this year. I just moved at the end of October into my own home by myself. Bought my first home by myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and I love it. And so I'm trying to get everything prepared to do that on my little bit of free time. Excited for that to start. It's fun to watch everything grow. And then to be able to pick it and eat it and share it. So
There is something rewarding about that. Planting it and nurturing it and watching it grow.
I know, excited. And once it gets into summer, I can go out there in the morning and water it, and it's grown overnight. And then I come home from work, and it's grown more. It's just a exciting thing for a daily, check on everything in there.
So what made you decide that 2020 was the year for you to buy your own home?
I think it was just time. I needed to do something on my own for myself and have a place for me and my boys, permanent. It had been a while since I had been in a rent house for several years, but I just wanted something to invest in for myself and for my boys, and it's been really exciting. It was a crazy story and how I got it and everything, but I love it. It was meant for me for sure.
Okay, can you share that story?
Well, it was just ups and downs because I was buying it by myself, trying to get approved and down payment assistance and all those things I know a lot
Yes.
about. And looked like it was, everything was going smoothly, and then we had some hiccups, and it looked like I didn't know if it was going to happen. And within about 8 hours, they called me back and said, "Never mind, it's all yours." And so it's been, but it's awesome. The house, I feel like the house was meant for me. So, for sure.
I love those stories
Oh, I
when
know.
you know that's the home for you.
Yes, and meeting all the people along the way that helped me do that as well.
Yes, it takes an army to
it
get a
does.
home closed.
It
It's
does.
not just 1 or 2 people.
No.
So what made you choose Royse City to be where you lived, where you bought a home, and where you put your family?
Well, I'm coming out here to join the chamber. Just all
Did
of
the
the
chamber
wonderful.
draw you in?
Well, they came when I worked at an office in Rockwall. Came in,
Okay.
wanted us to join the chamber, and we decided to do it. So I was a chamber representative, and then from there, I mean, I couldn't get enough of it because everyone's so friendly and wonderful, and I started making really good friends, and then I started doing the counseling out here, and just more and more did I love it, and just I didn't want to move anywhere other than here for sure. And now I'm within about a mile radius of everything I love, from home to smoke sessions, down to the counseling center, to all my favorite little places down on Main Street.
Well, that's a perfect segue into us talking about what you love about Royse City.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of friends I have that are business owners down there. Some I've known for 22 years. Some I've just met but have become good friends with that, they own their own businesses too. So just getting to go in those places and knowing, I mean, everywhere I go, it's like you find somebody or two or three people, especially being at smoke sessions now. I mean, everybody's like, oh, you work here now? And, it's been exciting. I love getting to the feel of everybody knowing each other. As big as this town is, or is getting, I should say, and as much as it's growing, I mean, I still don't go in a store or somewhere without seeing someone I know. And everyone's just so friendly. And everyone's very supportive of their local businesses here, especially with the chamber. Everyone's always supporting each other. It doesn't matter if you have multiple of the same type of business. They're still going to support all of them.
I've noticed that about the chamber. They are phenomenal. Even other cities around talk about the Royse City Chamber.
Oh, yeah.
And how just plugged in and how they build up the businesses. And I mean, they're just such genuine people.
Yes, and good, funny, good-hearted people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to anything and feel unwelcome.
What are some of your favorite activities here in town that go on?
Well, definitely Fun Fest is one of the best.
Which is coming up in October,
It'll
right?
be in October, yes. I like our casino night we have for the chamber. Just, I mean, all of the different activities. We did the fun run, which was supposed to be for Fun Fest, but they did it over Christmas. The car show coming up is definitely one of my favorites too.
It's so great to see all the activities coming back alive and people being able to get back
I know.
out and do all of the
It's
events.
going to be nice.
So-
And that's going to really draw even bigger crowds because everyone's been waiting so long for that, and they're ready to get out of the house and move around and see their friends and their family and their neighbors.
So what do you hope becomes of Royse City in the next 1 to 5 years?
Well, I definitely, hope that we continue to grow, which I know we will. But just one, that it stays that small town feel, and I know it will. And I think, like you said, I think the word gets out, and everyone's wanting to come out here. And I just want to see us grow, and the schools, be able to build more schools and educate as many people as we can. And definitely would like to see us get some charitable things going. We are starting the Women Empowerment Group.
Yes.
It will be coming soon. I'm the secretary on that board. And I think that's going to be a really exciting thing for the women of Royse City.
Yes.
For them to gather together and do different activities and get to know each other. And those kind of things are still, even though those might grow as well, they're still going to be tight-knit, spreading the word around the community and everyone getting to know each other. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
I think so too. And that's how you keep that small town community feel.
Yes.
Is plugging into those different organizations.
Yes.
I know I went to one of the planning sessions for the Women Empowerment Group, and I walked into that room and I'm like, these women are incredible, just how their hearts were to serve and want to build one another
Yes.
up. And, I love the conversations of wanting not just business women, but all women to be a part of that.
Oh, yes. And that's what makes it, get a couple of people in and they bring their neighbors, and then before you know it, we're going to have this wonderful big group. And everyone's welcome. That's the
Yes.
thing. You don't have to be a certain person or a certain group, that kind of thing. You really get to know a big group of women from all different walks of life.
Yes, I'm so excited about that group.
I know, I am too.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about before we hit start that you're going to pick a number between 1 and 20,
Okay.
and that's going to be your final question.
Okay.
So if you will pick a number for me between 1 and 20.
Let's go with 13.
Ooh, okay. So tell me why you picked 13.
It's just always been a favorite number of mine.
Okay. Number 13. If you could change one thing about your upbringing, what would it be?
Wow. That's a tough one. I mean, I really can't say that I would change anything. I mean, I had a wonderful childhood. I have, mom and dad, stepdad, who was wonderful. It came into my life, my grandparents, my brothers. I have 4 older brothers and 2 younger sisters, and we just had a great blended family, and we had a lot of fun. We always had fun, dancing, singing, just, it was a great time. I was lucky. I was very lucky. Not everyone is quite as lucky, but I mean, I just really don't think I could say much.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Not many people could answer that question that way, that they wouldn't change something. Okay, we have to share this though. There's no way I can let this end and us not talk about the fact you are related to Patsy Cline.
Somewhere, yeah, yes, I am. So somewhere down the line, my grandmother on my dad's side, my maiden name's Klein, and she did a lot of genealogy, trying to find out where we all came from. And I want to say a couple greats, she was like a couple greats as an aunt. That's what she said, Grandma did. I know my aunts know the story better than I do, but I do have one aunt that sings just like her. So, I like to think, somewhere I have her blood in me, so I might think I can sing like her, but I don't. I do in the car and at home and in the shower and things. So, but yeah, it's a really awesome thing to know that. It's funny how we can find out now. I mean, way, 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 way back of all of our ancestors, and it's an awesome thing to do. So.
That is so cool. I'm so glad you shared that with me.
Oh,
like
yeah.
now, every time I see you, I'm gonna know that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she's like really famous because
Yeah.
she's
I
related
know.
to Patsy Cline.
And I love her songs too. I always play
know.
them at alumni on the music machine.
Oh, fun. Do you do karaoke? Do you get up and sing?
I haven't. I've been trying to get places to do karaoke. I have not been in a long time. I used to, but this
Can
sounds
you talk
like something
smoke
we need to.
sessions to do it?
I'm thinking about it.
I think we need a karaoke night.
I think we should have a karaoke night. I will definitely talk to them and see what we can do.
I love it. I love it. Okay, let me know what it is. I'll come watch, but
Okay.
you don't want me to sing.
Oh, you can't ask me to do that and then not get up and sing. We could do a duet.
Okay, I'll do a duet with
All
you.
right. Okay.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed getting to know you
thank
and know
you.
your story. And, honestly, I feel like there'll be someone who watches this and hears this and will hopefully help them. So thank you.
Yes.
I know that there are times in our lives that are hard for us to talk about, but you did a great job sharing that
Thank you.
in hopes that it'll help someone else. So
Well,
thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome.
All right.